Firstly, I think we are quite pleased with the results, both for the year and for the quarter which we have delivered. Results which indicate that the strategy that we put in place to deliver growth, which was competitive, which was consistent, which was profitable and responsible, is playing out. So we feel pretty good about that. And our strategy really has been based on doing two things. First, making sure that we are managing the business for the current term, and which is the results that you talk about. And the second part is doing things today which will help us future-proof this business by developing a point of view on India and Indians of tomorrow, and then taking steps to build a portfolio and a set of capabilities which will position us well as that new future emerges as we move forward. So our position on consumers and trends has simply been that we are going to see an India where people will have more money, their attitudes to consumption are changing, their aspirations are rising, and therefore we will see growth in consumption over a period of time, and the emergence of many new segments, many new categories which offer new benefits to consumers. We have through this year seen some of that play out, although I'm conscious of the fact that over the last couple of quarters we've seen some slowdown in consumer demand and the spends. Well, that's true over the last couple of quarters. We remain convinced that the medium to long-term future for consumption continues to be strong. We are taking steps in that direction to position us well for that. I think in terms of the overall slowdown, some of it is impacted by the general economic environment that we find ourselves in. If the overall business sentiment, the overall consumer sentiment in the country has weakened over a period of time as our growth rates have come off levels of 8% down to GDP growth rates of about 5%, some of that impact necessarily will be experienced by consumers, and it will impact how they live and how they spend. Consumer sentiment therefore has got impacted in the recent past. Levels of inflation have been stubbornly high. Consumer price inflation has been high, and this has impacted consumers in the medium term, as in the short term, as we see it. I hasten to add, when I keep saying that we've seen a slowdown, it's a slowdown from higher levels of growth, and it doesn't mean that categories and markets are not growing. We are still growing. All I can say, instead of just answering this, is that you and I could quickly walk across to the shop that we've got around the corner in our office and just have a look at what we've got there, and you yourself will realize the transformation that has taken place over the last few years. Simple case in point is, let's take Vaseline. Vaseline a few years ago was just a petroleum jelly. That's really what it was, and that's where it built its equity. Today you go into and see the range of Vaseline, it's unrecognizable in terms of the lotions, skin lightening products, range for men. It's just totally transformed in terms of what it was and what it is now. So also Pond's, which was a cold cream and a talc. Today you would have anti-aging products, premium skin lightening products. You would have the finest of offerings that you would have anywhere else in the world are available here. Whether it is Lakme and what it was then and what it is now, or take new categories that we are developing. Take face washes. Face washes as a category didn't exist a few years ago. At last count, we had almost 50 SKUs in our own portfolio across the brands that with which we've entered the face wash market. And this sort of transformation in a portfolio is happening everywhere. And it's not just in personal care, which I've been talking about. There are categories of the future in every market. So even tea bags will be the category of the future, or the segment of the future, so to say. If you take laundry, again, there will be fabric conditioners, which will be the category or the segment of the future, or there could be liquid detergents, which would be the segment of the future. In personal wash, instead of just bathing bars, you will have hand wash products, you would have body washes, and those would be the segments of the future. So I could go on, and virtually every category you would find segments of the future, segments which will become large in the future, and our strategy has been to have a point of view on those, build a portfolio, build the capabilities, and lead market development.